As the elevator begins its slow descent beneath the surface, you notice the world above fading away in a strangely peaceful manner, as if every passing meter were gently lowering the volume of reality itself. The daylight that once streamed through the narrow window at your back vanishes first, swallowed by layers of reinforced concrete and steel, and then even the faint noises from the surface, distant wind, a passing vehicle, the soft hum of life, dissolve into a warm, insulated quiet that feels almost intentional, as if the underground were gradually introducing you to its own rhythm. The light inside the elevator shifts to a softer tone, a warm glow designed to mimic the final moments of sunset, and you feel your body instinctively relaxing into the atmosphere, your breathing aligning with the steady vibration of the massive machinery lowering you deeper into the earth. When the digital display reaches 312 meters, a single muted chime echoes through the cabin, low, calm, almost polite, signaling that you've arrived in a place built not just to protect human life, but to sustain it for decades without ever needing to see the sky again. The doors slide open silently, revealing a wide corridor bathed in a gentle amber light that casts no harsh shadows and seems to welcome you with an artificial sense of dusk that never fully turns to night. The air here feels different too, slightly warmer, perfectly filtered, carrying a faint mineral scent from the rock that surrounds everything. This is the first threshold of the underground mega bunker, a vast, meticulously engineered world hidden far below the surface, where thousands of people might one day live, sleep, work, and grow old without ever stepping outside. As you take your first step into the corridor, the floor beneath your feet feels incredibly stable, almost unnaturally so, absorbing each footfall with a softness you wouldn't expect from reinforced steel. Subtle ventilation vents along the ceiling release slow streams of purified air that move like the calm breath of a sleeping giant. And somewhere farther down the hall, you can hear the distant rhythmic pulse of the bunker's geothermal generators pushing warm energy through the walls. Walking forward, you notice the silence is not empty. It's layered. A low, continuous hum forms the background, steady and soothing, like the deep heartbeat of the complex itself, while softer mechanical whispers drift occasionally through access panels, reminding you that every part of this place is alive with purpose. The corridor stretches ahead for nearly 100 meters, gently curving to the right, its edges marked by glowing strips that guide residents through the bunker without ever forcing them into bright or stressful lighting. The deeper you move, the more you realize that this place wasn't designed merely as a refuge, but as a new kind of environment, one where time loses urgency, where day and night are concepts rather than realities, and where life follows a rhythm determined entirely by careful engineering instead of the rising and setting of the sun. You reach a wide junction space, a circular atrium where several corridors connect, each leading to a different sector of the bunker. Residential wings, hydroponic farms, water treatment caverns, energy systems, and communal spaces. And as you pause there, you feel a subtle warmth radiating from the floor, a comforting envelope that keeps every part of the bunker at a perfectly regulated temperature. Overhead, a curved ceiling displays a soft gradient of warm color, simulating the last light of day in a way that's oddly convincing even without a sky. It's meant to help new residents adjust, calming the mind, slowing the heart rate, easing the transition from the surface world into this quiet, subterranean universe. You take another slow breath, and it becomes clear that living here would mean embracing an entirely different relationship with the world, one where safety comes not from open horizons, but from layers of rock and steel, one where silence is not emptiness, but design, one where your life would unfold in a place built to be steady, predictable, and gently detached from everything happening far above. As you continue walking toward the main residential wing, the distant glow of the central hall grows brighter, inviting you deeper into the mega bunker's hidden world, where the rest of your imagined daily life awaits. As you follow the gentle curve of the hallway, the bunker gradually reveals the scale of its underground architecture, and by the time you reach the central corridor, the true spine of the entire complex, you begin to understand why this place is often described as a subterranean city rather than a bunker. The corridor extends farther than your eyes can comfortably follow, a long, softly lit passage with a perfectly even floor, lined on both sides by alcoves, doorways, and modular structural segments that blend seamlessly into the overall design. The lighting here is striking, not in intensity, but in its absolute intentionality. Long panels embedded into the ceiling emit a diffused glow that gently transitions between warm amber and pale gold, creating an ambience reminiscent of late afternoon sunlight filtered through thick curtains, the kind of light that relaxes the mind almost involuntarily. Every surface around you feels engineered for calmness. The walls are paneled with a matte, sound-absorbing material that softens even your quiet footsteps, and subtle geometric patterns have been incorporated into the design to add depth without ever overstimulating the senses. Farther along the corridor, a series of slow-turning ventilation turbines rotate behind protective grates, producing a soft, steady airflow that brushes lightly against your skin as you walk, carrying just a hint of cool freshness that makes the subterranean space feel less confined and more like an insulated environment with its own controlled climate. You notice that the corridor is surprisingly wide enough for small maintenance vehicles to pass comfortably, although none are present at the moment. Instead, the space feels open, almost like an indoor promenade, with a few benches positioned along the walls and clearly marked signs indicating the routes to various sectors: the agricultural wing, the recreation halls, the medical center, the energy core, and the communal dining areas. At regular intervals, large transparent panels set into the walls reveal glimpses of the bunker's infrastructure: vertical shafts full of thick cables and insulated pipes, glowing conduits transporting heat and electricity, and maintenance catwalks suspended above pools of humming machinery. Even though the technology is complex, everything looks meticulously maintained, polished and orderly, giving the impression that this place functions with the precision of a living organism. The deeper you proceed along the corridor, the calmer you feel, partly because the environment has been intentionally designed to slow the mind. The walls curve gently, avoiding sharp corners, and the entire passage slopes downward almost imperceptibly, guiding visitors toward the heart of the bunker without ever forcing them to think about navigating. From somewhere in the distance, you hear a soft electronic tone, perhaps a door sensor or a communication chime, but it fades quickly into the ambient hum before it can draw your attention away from the atmosphere around you. You run your fingers along the wall at one point and realize the material is slightly warm to the touch, evidence of the geothermal energy system that heats the entire complex, distributing warmth evenly through insulated conduits hidden behind each panel. Even though you are hundreds of meters below ground, the air remains fresh and surprisingly pleasant, with no trace of dampness or pressure. Instead, the corridor feels like a place that was not only built for function, but for daily life. A place where ordinary routines, walking to breakfast, heading to work, returning to your quarters, could unfold peacefully for years. As you approach the corridor's midpoint, you begin to see an expansive open area ahead, where the ceiling rises dramatically into a vaulted dome illuminated by a soft, circular light that simulates a pale afternoon sky, signaling that you are nearing the central hub of the bunker, the place where most residents would gather before dispersing into the different sectors of their subterranean world. Stepping into the residential wing, you begin to imagine what a typical morning would feel like in this underground world, and the thought is surprisingly comforting. Instead of waking to the unpredictability of weather, sudden brightness, or the noise of the outside world, your day here would begin with a carefully crafted simulation a gradual rise in warm light that never startles you awake, but gently encourages you to open your eyes, as if the bunker itself were guiding you into consciousness. Each living unit in the mega bunker has its own artificial dawn cycle, starting with a soft amber glow that slowly shifts into a muted golden hue over the course of several minutes, creating the illusion of sunlight filtering through thick curtains. The air vents release a slightly cooler breeze during this transition, mimicking the sensation of early morning air, and a faint vibration from the geothermal system beneath the floor adds a grounded, soothing steadiness to the room. When you lift yourself from the perfectly temperature-regulated bed, the silence embraces you. Not empty silence, but a warm, consistent hum created intentionally to reduce stress and promote long-term mental stability. The corridor outside your quarters glows with dim directional lights, allowing you to navigate without strain. And as you begin walking toward the communal dining area, you notice how each sector is synchronized so that residents rise and move gradually rather than all at once. This staggered rhythm prevents crowding and reinforces the sense of calm routine. As you make your way down the hall, the scent of warm grains and freshly processed hydroponic greens drifts through the air from the kitchens, carried by the carefully engineered airflow that ensures aromas remain subtle and clean. The dining hall itself is a spacious chamber with gently arched ceilings, its lighting set to imitate a tranquil morning sky, soft blue transitioning into pale white, casting a peaceful glow over the long, minimalist tables. People here move slowly, speaking in low, relaxed tones, or sitting quietly as they eat, their movements almost synchronized by the unspoken rhythm of bunker life. Your breakfast might consist of warm porridge made from grain crops cultivated in the subterranean farms, fresh leafy herbs grown under gentle LED arrays, or protein produced through advanced, eco-friendly cultivation systems that require minimal space and resources. Everything is served at carefully maintained temperatures to ensure comfort, and even the utensils and serving trays feel designed for a world where sharp edges and jarring sensations simply don't belong. After eating, you would likely walk toward the hygiene wing, where recycled water, filtered dozens of times through multi-stage purification systems, flows through showers that automatically adjust to your preferred temperature. The lighting in these rooms is slightly brighter, with a soft white glow meant to mimic the late morning sun, helping your body maintain a stable circadian rhythm despite the absence of natural daylight. As you finish your routine, the environmental systems gradually transition the bunker's lighting and temperature into the daytime phase, subtly encouraging residents to enter the productive portion of their schedule. Walking back through the corridor, you feel the atmosphere shift from morning quiet to a calm sense of purpose, as though the entire facility is gently awakening alongside you. Living underground, you realize, doesn't mean sacrificing the structure or comfort of daily life. On the contrary, each moment is crafted with deliberate care, ensuring that even the simplest morning routine becomes an anchor of peace in a world where the sky itself has been replaced by the thoughtful engineering of a carefully controlled environment. As you leave the residential wing behind and make your way deeper into the complex, you begin to notice just how seamlessly the bunker's survival systems blend into its architecture. Nothing here feels exposed or industrial, yet behind every quiet wall panel, beneath every softly illuminated floor tile, and above every curved ceiling segment lies an intricate network of technology working tirelessly to sustain life hundreds of meters below the Earth's surface. The first thing you become aware of is the temperature, remarkably stable, never too warm or too cool, which is maintained by a geothermal exchange system that draws heat from the surrounding rock and disperses it evenly through insulated conduits that line the entire facility. You can feel a subtle warmth through the soles of your shoes, a reminder that deep below your feet, a vast reservoir of natural heat is being carefully harnessed and controlled. As you continue walking, you pass a maintenance access window embedded in the wall, offering a rare glimpse into the heart of the air purification network. A massive chamber filled with multi-layer filtration units, each one cycling air through carbon filters, UV sterilization arrays, and mineral-infused rebalancing systems that not only clean the air, but enrich it with the ideal mixture of humidity and oxygen. Soft, rhythmic pulses of air vibrate through the ducts, moving like a slow, controlled breath throughout the bunker, creating a sensation of living inside a carefully calibrated organism. Farther along, you find yourself standing above a transparent floor panel that overlooks the water recycling system, a labyrinth of pipes and translucent channels carrying purified water from the treatment caverns, where it has been meticulously cleansed using a combination of nanofiltration membranes, thermal distillation, and microbial bioreactors. Small indicator lights pulse along each pipe, providing engineers with real-time information on flow rates and purity levels, though the entire system functions silently enough that most residents never think about the complex journey their water takes before reaching a faucet. Near the end of the corridor, you reach a listening alcove, a small area intentionally designed to let residents appreciate the subtle hum of the bunker's primary generators. These generators operate on a hybrid system. Deep geothermal wells provide a constant stream of heat, while an array of high-efficiency turbines converts that heat into electricity, maintaining not just the lighting and temperature controls, but the thousands of microsystems responsible for keeping this subterranean world running smoothly. The gentle vibration beneath your feet is a constant reminder of the energy flowing through the complex, yet it's so steady and low frequency that it feels more like the purring of a large sleeping animal than the thrum of industrial machinery. Everywhere you look, the bunker's systems exhibit the same thoughtful design philosophy, redundancy paired with seamless integration. Every critical subsystem is backed by at least two independent alternatives, ensuring that even if a segment were to fail, life inside the bunker would continue uninterrupted. It becomes clear, as you walk through this quiet, efficient, and meticulously engineered environment, that living underground is less about isolation and more about coexistence with layers of technology that support every aspect of human life without ever intruding on one's peace. The bunker feels less like a machine and more like a protective cocoon, one that breathes, warms, nourishes, and shelters its inhabitants with a silent reliability that allows them to live without fear, even in a place where the sun will never shine. Walking deeper into the agricultural sector, you begin to sense a subtle shift in the air, slightly more humid, carrying faint traces of greenery and nutrient-rich water. And this gentle transition is your first indication that you're approaching the vast underground farms that sustain the bunker's population. Unlike the hard, polished surfaces of the main corridors, the entryway to this sector is lined with soft bioluminescent markers embedded along the floor, guiding you toward an environment designed to replicate the soothing qualities of a natural ecosystem despite being entirely artificial. As you step through the wide archway, the space opens into an enormous chamber stretching far beyond what you would expect to find underground. Rows upon rows of hydroponic towers rise toward the curved ceiling, each one glowing with a soft spectrum of light carefully tuned to optimize plant growth. The LEDs shimmer in hues of gentle white, pale blue, and faint magenta, creating a mosaic of calming colors that bathe the entire chamber in a serene, almost dreamlike atmosphere. The plants themselves, leafy greens, herbs, grains, and vine crops, grow in nutrient-enriched water rather than soil, their roots suspended in slender columns of circulating liquid that trickles softly, producing a rhythmic, soothing sound reminiscent of rainfall on a distant roof. Overhead, large ventilation ducts slowly push filtered, humidified air through the chamber, maintaining the ideal temperature and moisture levels for each species of plant. As you walk between the hydroponic rows, you can hear the faint hum of the pumps cycling water through the system, a gentle mechanical heartbeat that blends seamlessly into the peaceful ambience of the gardens. Occasionally, automated arms glide along overhead tracks, adjusting the position of grow lights or gently pruning excess leaves to keep every plant thriving. Their movements are slow, deliberate, and nearly silent, reinforcing the calm environment rather than disrupting it. Farther along the chamber, you encounter a separate section dedicated to aquaponics, where tanks of fish, carefully selected species that thrive in low-light, controlled environments, swim in slow circles beneath the surface. Their presence helps sustain a natural nutrient cycle. The water from their tanks, rich with organic matter, is filtered and directed into hydroponic lines, nourishing the plants, while the plants in turn purify the water that returns to the fish. It's a closed loop, efficient and self-balancing, representing the bunker's reliance on meticulously designed symbiotic systems. Nearby, you find a small orchard simulation room, an expansive space with tall artificial trees bearing controlled clusters of fruit, their branches illuminated by vertical light arrays that shift gradually to mimic seasonal growth cycles. The air here carries a faint sweetness, a soft fragrance created by blooming flowers and ripening fruit, diffused gently through the air circulation system. Walking through this room feels like stepping into a tranquil indoor forest, quiet and sheltered, yet alive with the slow, patient rhythms of cultivated nature. What becomes clear after spending time in the agricultural wing is that these gardens serve not only to feed the bunker's residents, but also to nourish their minds. The combination of greenery, soft lighting, flowing water, and gentle mechanical sounds creates a sanctuary, a reprieve from the metallic corridors and engineered precision of the rest of the bunker. Residents often come here not just to work, but to breathe, to walk, to sit quietly on one of the smooth stone benches placed strategically among the towers, letting the calm environment ease the subconscious tension of living underground. In this vast chamber, far from the surface and encased in layers of rock and steel, life continues to grow with quiet determination, offering a reminder that even deep below the earth, nature can thrive, with a little help from human ingenuity and a great deal of thoughtful engineering. Moving away from the agricultural wing, you return to the quieter residential corridors, where the design shifts once again from functional engineering to an aesthetic centered around comfort, calmness, and long-term well-being. At first glance, the rooms appear simple, modest in size, minimally furnished, but as you step into one of the living quarters, you immediately sense that every detail has been carefully chosen to create a private sanctuary within the vast subterranean world. The walls are lined with sound-absorbing panels in soft matte tones, designed to reduce echo and create an enveloping silence that lingers in the air like a warm blanket. Lighting here is gentle and layered. Recessed strips near the floor emit a soft amber glow, while hidden ceiling panels simulate a diffused daylight effect that can be adjusted to match the residents' preferred circadian rhythm. The bed, positioned against one of the curved walls, is engineered for maximum comfort in a climate with no drafts or temperature swings. It rests on a platform that subtly regulates warmth, keeping the sleeping environment at a perfectly stable temperature throughout the night. As you sit on its edge, the mattress molds gently to your weight, creating the sensation of sinking into a cocoon. The room includes a small personal console embedded into the wall, allowing you to adjust lighting cycles, temperature, airflow, and even ambient soundscapes designed to mimic ocean waves, gentle rain, or distant wind. Sounds chosen specifically because they relax the human mind in enclosed environments. Opposite the bed is a compact work alcove with a smooth mineral composite desk and a chair designed to support long hours of reading or writing without fatigue. The alcove is framed by a softly illuminated panel depicting a customizable window, Not a real view, of course, but a high-resolution display that can show serene landscapes, star fields, or warm, abstract lighting meant to reduce the psychological effects of living underground. Many residents choose slow-moving imagery, like drifting clouds or a gentle sunrise, allowing the room to feel connected to a natural world that no longer exists above their heads. Adjacent to the sleeping and working area is a personal hygiene space, compact but exceptionally clean, where purified water flows through touch-responsive faucets that adjust pressure and temperature instantly. The shower emits a fine, warm mist that envelops the body without wasting water, and the lighting shifts to a soft, calming blue while you bathe, creating the sense of being wrapped in quiet twilight. Storage compartments are seamlessly integrated into the walls to preserve the minimalist aesthetic, with soft, close mechanisms that prevent any sudden noise. As you explore further, you notice that the corridors outside the rooms are kept intentionally dim, bathed in a warm amber glow that encourages relaxation and helps residents wind down as they prepare for sleep. The floors are lined with a soft polymer surface that absorbs each step, reducing noise and producing a sensation reminiscent of walking on moss. Even in these communal areas, the temperature remains remarkably consistent thanks to the bunker's geothermal regulation. Never cold, never stifling, just a steady warmth that makes you feel secure deep beneath the earth. The further you walk through the residential sector, the more you realize that the bunker is designed to remove mental clutter, to eliminate overstimulation, and to create a living environment where every vibration, every ray of light, every breath of filtered air contributes to a sense of peace. Living underground may seem isolating from the outside world, but inside this carefully engineered environment, the feeling is one of quiet protection, where you can retreat into your room at the end of the day and feel completely insulated from whatever chaos might exist above the surface. As you leave the quiet residential quarters and walk toward one of the broader communal halls, a subtle realization begins to form. Living underground, in a world without windows or a sky, creates a mental experience unlike anything found on the surface. At first, the absence of natural sunlight might seem disorienting, but the bunker's designers understood this deeply and crafted every environmental element to support the human mind in ways that natural environments sometimes cannot. For instance, the lighting that gently shifts from warm dawn to soft midday to muted dusk isn't meant to imitate nature perfectly. It's meant to guide your senses into a rhythm that feels predictable, safe, and unhurried. Most residents find that their circadian rhythms stabilize surprisingly quickly, not because the bunker forces a schedule on them, but because its controlled lighting eliminates the jarring variations that often disrupt sleep on the surface. As you move deeper into the psychological wing, you notice alcoves with soft seating and glowing panels that display calming scenes. Drifting clouds, slow ocean waves, abstract gradients of color that shift like soft breathing. These aren't just decorative. They serve as mental anchors, giving the subconscious mind something peaceful to hold onto in a world where the sky has been replaced by engineered serenity. You pass a small room known as the reflection chamber, where low-frequency speakers emit gentle vibrations designed to calm the nervous system, while a vertical wall of shimmering light cycles through deeply soothing blue and violet tone. Residents come here when they need to unwind, meditate, or simply feel grounded in a place where time flows differently. Despite the lack of natural landscapes, studies conducted within similar underground environments have shown that people often experience less stress here than in chaotic surface cities. The absence of noise pollution, weather unpredictability, and constant external stimuli creates a cocoon-like mental space where thoughts settle slowly and breathing becomes more deliberate. Still, the bunker's psychological design goes beyond mere relaxation. It fosters a sense of belonging. In the mindfulness atrium, a wide circular room with a gently domed ceiling, Residents gather for quiet, communal activities such as reading, stretching, or simply sitting in comfortable silence. Soft mats line the floors, and the walls glow with a pale golden hue, simulating the final warmth of a sunset. Even the air here is calibrated to be slightly warmer and richer in humidity, giving the sensation of being wrapped in a gentle blanket. As you stand in the atrium, you notice how the quiet hum of the bunker's mechanical systems blends into a soothing background texture, almost like a deep, constant heartbeat. Without the distractions of the outside world, thoughts feel clearer, emotions feel more manageable, and moments of stillness carry a weight that's often lost amid the noise of surface life. Yet the most profound psychological effect becomes evident when you return to the hallway. There is no sense of claustrophobia. In fact, the carefully layered lighting, the rounded architecture, the steady airflow, and the absence of hard shadows combine to create an environment that feels open despite its enclosed nature. Perhaps the greatest comfort of all is the knowledge that the underground world operates on a stable foundation. No storms, no unexpected noises, no sudden disruptions. Life unfolds calmly, predictably, like a slow-moving river. In this world, the human mind gradually adapts to the steady embrace of the subterranean environment, learning to find beauty not in the vastness of a sky, but in the peaceful constancy of a place where every breath, every sound, and every moment is shaped with thoughtful care. As you continue through the winding halls of the bunker, you eventually step into the recreation sector, a space designed with just as much intention and care as the agricultural and residential wings, yet with a different purpose. Here, every corner invites relaxation, gentle movement, and the kind of slow-paced social interaction that helps sustain a balanced mind in an enclosed world. The first area you encounter is the quiet commons, a wide, softly lit lounge with curved seating, circular tables, and fabric-lined walls that absorb sound to create a muted, peaceful atmosphere. People gather here to read, engage in quiet conversation, or simply sit in contemplative silence while low ambient tones drift from hidden speakers, forming a soundscape reminiscent of distant wind and soft ocean waves. The lighting shifts across a warm spectrum, never harsh, designed to reduce eye strain and promote a sense of calm connection between residents. Moving deeper into the recreation sector, you find the indoor hydrotherapy pool, a shallow body of warm, mineral-enriched water that glows faintly beneath a simulated sky dome. The dome displays a slow-moving pattern of light, resembling reflections on a calm lake, and the combination of gentle illumination and the quiet hum of circulating water creates a deeply soothing environment. Residents often come here after long shifts in the agricultural or energy sectors, letting the buoyancy of the warm water ease the subtle tension that occasionally builds from living underground. The pool area is surrounded by smooth stone benches and soft towels warmed by geothermal heat, further enhancing the sensation of comfort and safety. Beyond the pool lies the motion studio, a spacious room with a cushioned floor and panoramic panels displaying shifting abstract patterns. This room is used for low-impact physical activities such as stretching, balance routines, and slow, meditative movement exercises that help maintain physical health without overstimulating the senses. The air in the studio is slightly cooler and carries a faint scent of eucalyptus released periodically through the ventilation system to promote relaxation and clear breathing. Near the studio is the creative alcove, a quiet zone dedicated to gentle artistic activities, drawing, sculpting, writing, and small group hobbies. The lighting here is intentionally warmer, evoking the mood of a cozy evening indoors, and soft drawers filled with art supplies slide out silently from the walls, ready for anyone who feels inspired. Even the tools themselves are designed for the subterranean environment, with smooth edges and soft grips that prevent noise and accidental clatter. Farther along, you discover the reflection bridge, a long walkway suspended over a shallow pool of water illuminated from below by soft blue LEDs. The water is still and glass-like, reflecting the curved ceiling above, which displays a slowly transitioning gradient of colors meant to resemble twilight on the surface. Walking across this bridge creates the feeling of floating through a quiet, dreamlike space, and many residents use it as part of their evening routine, allowing the slow walk to gently quiet the mind before returning to their quarters for the night. Finally, you reach the hearth room, perhaps the most beloved recreational space in the bunker. Despite being entirely artificial, it is designed to evoke the warmth of a communal living room, with circular seating arranged around a central pillar of softly glowing light that simulates the warmth of a fireplace without flames or heat. Here, residents gather in the evenings for calm storytelling sessions, quiet group discussions, or shared moments of companionable silence. The air is slightly scented with hints of cedar and warm earth, creating the illusion of being in a rustic cabin far from the mechanical world outside. What becomes clear as you explore these spaces is that recreation in the bunker isn't about excitement or adrenaline. It's about grounding, connection, and serenity. Each room serves as a reminder that life underground can be not only sustainable, but deeply fulfilling, provided that the environment honors the natural rhythms of the human heart and mind. As you venture into the operational corridors branching off from the main hub, you begin to understand how the residents of the bunker maintain a sense of purpose in a world where the traditional pace of life has been replaced by a quieter, steadier rhythm. Work here is not defined by urgency or competition. Instead, every task unfolds at a pace carefully designed to match the emotional and psychological stability needed for long-term subterranean living. The first sector you encounter is the Environmental Systems Control Room, a vast chamber filled with softly illuminated consoles, holographic panels, and real-time displays tracking airflow, humidity, water purity, and geothermal output. Operators sit in comfortable ergonomic chairs, monitoring the bunker's silent machinery with calm attentiveness. Their role is less about reacting to crises and more about maintaining balance, ensuring that every breath of air and every drop of recycled water remains perfectly aligned with the bunker's intricate life support systems. The atmosphere is almost meditative. The only sounds come from the soft chimes of system updates and the rhythmic hum of geothermal converters working far below. Moving through the corridors, you pass the agricultural maintenance wing, where residents in light-colored uniforms check nutrient levels in hydroponic reservoirs, prune leafy greens, and oversee the gentle hum of automated irrigation systems. The work is slow, deliberate, and deeply connected to the natural cycles recreated within the bunker. Many residents who tend the underground gardens describe their role as therapeutic rather than laborious, finding comfort in seeing life flourish through careful, mindful cultivation. Farther ahead lies the Technical Fabrication Lab, a space dedicated to creating and repairing tools, replacement parts, and modular components using 3D printing stations and precision cutters. The machines here operate quietly, layering sound-absorbing material into their constructions with methodical patience. Technicians move gracefully between workstations, their actions unhurried, their focus steady, as if the bunker itself encourages a slower pace that prevents stress and fosters clarity. Even the lighting in the lab reflects this intention. Soft, white illumination that enhances visibility without harsh contrasts, ensuring the environment remains calming even during tasks requiring precision. As you continue exploring, you come across the Knowledge Hall, a quiet work sector functioning as both a research space and a small subterranean library. Shelves of digital archives and softly glowing screens line the walls, allowing residents to study topics ranging from engineering and ecology to philosophy and art. The cushioned reading pods along the perimeter create personal havens for deep thought, and the gentle hum of quiet air circulation encourages long periods of reflection. This space symbolizes the bunker's commitment to intellectual growth as much as physical survival. Farther along the corridor lies the Community Coordination Office, where residents collaborate on scheduling, resource allocation, and group decision-making. Instead of high-pressure meetings, discussions take place in softly lit round rooms with comfortable seating and sound-dampened walls that encourage open communication and patient dialogue. The absence of sharp, bureaucratic edges makes every interaction feel more like a shared routine than a stressful obligation. Throughout the bunker, work serves not just as necessity, but as structure, an anchor that gives each day a sense of meaning without overwhelming the spirit. Small tasks, such as checking pressure seals, tending to air filters, calibrating sensors, or organizing communal spaces, are rotated among residents to avoid monotony, ensuring that nobody becomes overly burdened by responsibility. Each role, no matter how simple, contributes to the smooth flow of life underground, mirroring the way individual organs support the body as a unified whole. By the time you complete your walk through the work sectors, it becomes clear that the bunker's design philosophy extends far beyond engineering. It is a way of life built around balance, patience, and harmony. Work happens at a pace that respects the human mind, allowing each person to feel grounded and essential without ever feeling strained. In this tranquil subterranean world, purpose is not measured by speed or urgency, but by the steady, collective effort of people living in quiet cooperation deep beneath the earth. As you move farther into the bunker's central infrastructure, you eventually reach the security and preparedness wing, a sector designed not for intimidation or urgency, but for reassurance, an environment where safety exists as a quiet, constant presence rather than a source of alarm. The first space you enter is the monitoring gallery, a long, softly lit room lined with panoramic screens displaying simplified status maps of the entire subterranean complex. Each section of the bunker appears in gentle shades of blue and green, pulsing calmly to indicate stable conditions. Operators sit in comfortable chairs spaced generously apart, their postures relaxed as they observe the steady rhythms of the systems. There are no blaring alerts, no flashing lights, only subtle color shifts and soft tones that notify staff of minor adjustments, maintaining an atmosphere of calm vigilance. You continue deeper into the wing and arrive at the Structural Integrity Hall, where engineered cross-sections of the bunker's walls and support beams are displayed under soft, diffused lighting. These towering structures of reinforced steel and shock-absorbent composite materials rise like quiet guardians, demonstrating how the bunker is built to withstand both internal movement and external geological pressure. Here, technicians perform silent, methodical inspections, checking microfracture sensors and pressure nodes that relay data to the monitoring systems. Each touch of their stylus across a console is gentle, as though anything louder might disrupt the serene environment. Farther along the corridor, you find the Emergency Preparation Studio, where residents participate in calm, routine drills. Unlike surface world emergency training, which often relies on loud instructions, rushing, or rapid decision-making, these exercises are conducted at a slow, steady pace, emphasizing familiarity and comfort rather than intensity. Participants walk through soft-lit hallways marked with subtle guiding lines, practicing how to reach designated safety alcoves hidden seamlessly within the bunker's walls. These alcoves, padded and temperature-regulated, are designed to shelter individuals during rare structural tests or external disturbances, though such events are unlikely given the immense stability of the earth surrounding the complex. Each drill ends with a gentle chime rather than a siren, ensuring that the experience leaves residents feeling prepared rather than tense. Continuing your exploration, you enter the atmospheric control chamber, an impressive space where technicians monitor subtle shifts in air composition, pressure, and humidity. Banks of consoles display smooth, rolling graphs with no abrupt peaks, just the quiet reassurance of balance. Airflow regulators hum softly behind insulated panels, releasing precise amounts of purified air into the network of vents woven throughout the bunker. The room feels almost therapeutic, filled with the gentle vibration of the air systems, maintaining an environment free from contaminants or fluctuations. Just beyond this chamber lies the isolation suite, a cluster of small, comfortably furnished rooms designed for residents who may need temporary quarantine due to illness or exposure to contaminants from external missions. Yet even here, the environment is warm and soothing, with soft fabrics, muted lighting, and continuous airflow that ensures a peaceful, stress-free stay. The goal, as in all parts of the bunker, is to maintain a sense of safety without ever allowing anxiety to seep into daily life. As you make your way back toward the central corridor, you notice how seamlessly the safety sector integrates into the broader rhythm of the bunker. Nothing here feels intrusive or alarming. Every protocol has been crafted to support peace of mind. Living underground, you realize, doesn't require constant alertness. It requires thoughtful design that makes safety feel effortless. And in this world of controlled lighting, balanced air, and soft mechanical hums, preparedness becomes not a source of fear, but a quiet layer of care woven into the fabric of daily existence, allowing residents to live with the steady assurance that they are protected, watched over, and enveloped in the calm security of the earth itself. As you move toward the deepest accessible section of the bunker, you enter a narrow corridor that gently slopes downward, leading to an area known simply as the peripheral access loop, a quiet, curved passageway that encircles the entire complex like a concealed boundary between the inhabited world inside and the raw geological layers that lie beyond. The lighting here is softer than anywhere else in the bunker, dimmed intentionally to keep the focus on the structural displays embedded along the walls. These transparent panels reveal cross-sections of the bunker's outer shell, a multi-layered system of reinforced alloys, vibration-dampening composites, and shock-absorbent materials designed to withstand pressures that few structures on the surface would ever encounter. Beyond the outer shell lies the dense, ancient rock of the Earth itself, hundreds of meters of compressed history that form a natural barrier between the bunker and the world above. As you study the cross-sections, you begin to understand the sheer magnitude of the subterranean engineering. The bunker's lowest levels rest within a bed of stone, so solid and stable that seismic vibrations from the surface become little more than muted tremors by the time they reach this depth. The faint hum of geothermal activity resonates through the metal and stone layers like a distant heartbeat, grounding the entire structure in the slow, primordial rhythm of the Earth. Farther along the access loop, you encounter a maintenance viewport, one of the only places where you can peer directly into the outer ventilation conduits. These conduits stretch upward through long, narrow shafts carved into the rock, lined with reinforced tubing that carries purified air from secure surface intakes hidden beneath layers of camouflage and natural terrain. The shafts are illuminated by faint guide lights, casting a soft, ghostly glow along the walls that makes the vertical depth seem almost endless. Even here, the air feels unexpectedly fresh, thanks to the meticulously engineered purification system that removes particulates, microbes, and minerals before circulating the air throughout the living spaces. Continuing along the loop, you pass the thermal exchange cavern, a vast chamber where the bunker interfaces directly with the Earth's geothermal layers. The cavern is dim, lit by low amber lamps that reflect off mineral formations and metal pipes snaking across the rock. Thick insulated conduits carry heat upward to the energy converters, while cooled fluids return downward in a continuous cycle. The cavern's acoustics create a low, resonant hum, almost like the distant sound of ocean waves, providing the space with a hypnotic, calming quality that makes you linger a moment longer than expected. Even though this is purely an engineering chamber, it feels strangely serene, a reminder that the bunker doesn't merely sit in the earth, it harmonizes with it. Deeper still, you reach the observation alcove, a small curved room designed not for external viewing. There is nothing but rock outside these walls, but for internal reflection. The ceiling here projects a slowly shifting pattern of starlight, echoing the cosmos hidden far above. This artificial sky exists as a gentle psychological anchor, reminding residents that even though they may never see the real night sky, they remain connected to the greater universe through memory, imagination, and quiet contemplation. As you stand there, the hum of the geothermal conduits blends with the subtle rhythmic vibration of the bunker's structural supports, creating a sensation of being held in place by the earth itself, protected, insulated, and enveloped in a world where time moves slowly and reassurance flows through every engineered seam. By the time you leave the peripheral access loop, you realize that the unseen layers surrounding the bunker are as much a part of its identity as the gardens, living quarters, and communal halls. The world you never see, the rock, the shell, the silent systems, forms the protective cradle that allows life below ground to continue with steady, unbroken calm, day after quiet day. As you move back toward the residential sectors and pause in one of the long, softly lit corridors, it becomes easier to imagine what years spent in this subterranean world would truly feel like. Not the novelty of a first descent, nor the early days of adjustment, but the deep, gradual transformation that comes from living in a place where time flows differently, where life is measured not by seasons or weather, but by the steady rhythms of engineered calm. Over months and then years, your body would begin to sync itself to the bunker's carefully crafted cycles, the faux sunrise lighting that gently nudges you awake each morning, the warm midday glow that encourages productivity without ever overwhelming your senses, and the gradual dimming of lights in the evening that guides your mind naturally toward rest. Without the harsh unpredictability of surface life, no sudden storms, no blaring traffic, no fluctuations in temperature, you would likely find that your sleep becomes deeper, more consistent, your thoughts settling into a slower, more contemplative pattern. Socially, life underground evolves into a unique kind of community, connected not by proximity alone, but by shared experience. Friendships grow in quiet spaces, soft conversations in the hearth room, slow walks across the reflection bridge, or moments of stillness beside the hydroponic gardens, where the subtle sounds of flowing water and the glow of gently shifting LEDs create an atmosphere that makes deeper conversations feel natural. Over the years, residents develop routines that intertwine. The comforting predictability of seeing familiar faces in the dining hall, taking part in communal gardening tasks, or simply passing one another in the softly curved corridors where every footstep feels cushioned by the sound-absorbing floors. Even memories of the surface begin to change. At first, you might miss the sun, the breeze, the wide open sky. But as time passes, those sensations grow distant, not painful, but softened by the constant reassurance of the world you now inhabit. Above-ground experiences become like old photographs in your mind, still cherished, yet no longer necessary to your daily sense of peace. Instead of longing for what once was, you start to appreciate the subtle stability of your new environment, the reliability of the geothermal warmth beneath your feet, the ever-fresh air circulating through carefully maintained filters, the gentle hum of the bunker's machinery acting as an unchanging companion through each day and night cycle. Your sense of self may shift too. Life underground encourages a slower pace, reducing the constant demands and pressures that once shaped your identity. You might find new passions, learning to tend hydroponic plants, studying in the knowledge hall, participating in slow, meditative exercises in the motion studio. These long stretches of uninterrupted time allow skills to develop gradually and meaningfully, without the stress of deadlines or haste. Many residents come to value the bunker not as a shelter from danger, but as a sanctuary from the relentless urgency of surface life. Over the years, your inner world becomes quieter, your thoughts more intentional, your emotions easier to navigate. You may discover that the absence of a sky does not diminish your sense of connection to the world. Rather, it shifts it inward, allowing you to appreciate small details with newfound clarity. The warmth of your room, the faint scent of herbs grown in the agricultural sector, the steady breath of the ventilation system, the soft glow of the artificial dusk settling through the corridors each evening. And as the seasons above pass unnoticed, another transformation occurs. The bunker begins to feel less like an engineered structure and more like an extension of your own inner landscape. A place where time slows enough for you to hear your own thoughts, to rest deeply, and to live with a quiet sense of purpose shaped not by the vastness of the world above, but by the gentle, deliberate calm of the world below. As you walk one last time through the softly illuminated corridors, passing familiar alcoves, curved walls, and the gentle hum of systems that have become as steady as your own heartbeat, a quiet understanding begins to settle within you. Living in a subterranean world is not simply a matter of survival or engineering. It is a choice of philosophy, a different way of experiencing what it means to be alive. In the bunker, life unfolds with a kind of intentionality that feels increasingly rare on the surface. Every light, every breath of filtered air, every softly cushioned footstep represents a world designed for calm rather than chaos, for steadiness rather than speed. Without the noise, unpredictability, and constant demands of the outside world, you begin to realize how much of your old life was spent reacting, moving from one stressor to the next, rushing between obligations without ever finding the time to simply exist in the present moment. Here, beneath hundreds of meters of rock, time feels less like a force pushing you forward and more like a quiet companion walking beside you, allowing you to navigate your days at a pace that honors your mind and body. As you sit for a moment on a smooth bench near the reflection bridge, watching the dim blue lights shimmer across the still water, you think about how your priorities have changed since arriving here. Achievement is no longer measured by how much you accomplish in a day, nor by how fast you can reach a goal. Instead, purpose becomes something inward, a steady cultivation of thought, a deeper awareness of your emotions, a recognition of the small, grounding details that shape your daily life. You realize how comforting it is to feel connected to a community where everyone shares the same slow rhythm, where interactions are unhurried, gentle, and sincere. The absence of visual distractions, the sky, the horizon, distant landscapes, allows your mind to turn toward clarity rather than comparison. In a place with no seasons, you begin to notice subtle cycles instead. The gradual shift in lighting that marks the passing hours, the hum of geothermal pumps rising and falling like a steady breath, the routine footsteps of neighbors moving quietly along the hall in the mornings and evenings. Over time, these small patterns become anchors, offering a deeper sense of belonging than the constantly shifting surface world ever did. Reflections on the past soften, losing their urgency and sharpness. You don't forget the surface, the warmth of real sunlight, the sound of wind through trees, but those memories become like soft echoes, pleasant to revisit, but no longer necessary for your happiness. The bunker transforms from a place you inhabit to a place that inhabits you, shaping the contours of your inner landscape. And in that shaping, you discover a tranquil kind of wisdom. Peace is not found in vastness, but in stability, not in endless choice, but in thoughtful simplicity, not in the complexity of the outside world, but in the quiet harmony of a life lived with intention. As you rise from the bench and walk back toward your quarters, the softly glowing corridor feels almost like a pathway through your own thoughts. Curved, quiet, and steady, you step into your room where warm light gently signals the approach of evening, And as the artificial dusk settles over the bunker once more, you feel a sense of gratitude for this world beneath the earth. Here, deep in the protective cradle of stone and steel, life becomes something tender, deliberate, and profoundly human. A reminder that even without a sky, there is beauty in the slow, constant rhythms that guide you through each peaceful day below. As the final lights of the bunker's gentle dusk settle around you, the corridors growing quiet and the soft hum of the geothermal heartbeat fading into the background, you allow yourself one more slow breath, letting the calm of this underground world drift through your thoughts. Down here, far beneath the shifting noise of the surface, life moves with a steadiness that asks nothing more from you than presence, a quiet invitation to simply rest, to let your mind loosen its hold on the day and sink into the peaceful rhythm that surrounds you. The air is warm, the lighting soft, and every vibration feels like a gentle reminder that you are cradled in a place built for comfort, safety, and stillness. Whether you imagine yourself walking once more through the gardens, sitting beside the reflection pool, or resting in the quiet embrace of your room, the calm of this subterranean world remains with you, steady and unbroken. So allow your thoughts to drift. Let your breathing soften, and if sleep begins to rise slowly to meet you, let it. Here, deep beneath the earth, there is nothing left to do but rest.